Pratītyasamutpāda, commonly translated as dependent origination or dependent arising, states that all dharmas arise in dependence upon other dharmas. If this exists, that exists. If this ceases to exist, that also ceases to exist. It is a pragmatic teaching, which is applied to dukkha and the cessation of dukkha. The term is also used to refer to the 12 links of dependent origination, which describes the chain of causes which result in rebirth. By reverting the chain, liberation from rebirth can be attained. Etymology. Pratītyasamutpāda consists of two terms: praticca, having depended; samuppada, arising, rise, production, origin. The term has been translated into English variously as dependent origination, dependent arising, interdependent co-arising, conditioned arising, and conditioned genesis. The term could be translated somewhat more literally as arising in dependence upon conditions. The term may also refer to the 12 nidhanas, the 12-fold chain that describes the chain of rebirth. Generally speaking, in the Mahayana tradition, Pratītyasamutpāda is used to refer to the general principle of interdependent causation, whereas in the Theravada tradition, paṭiccasamuppāda is used to refer to the 12 nidhanas, dependent origination. According to Boka, Pratītyasamutpāda means that all physical and mental manifestations which constitute individual appearances are interdependent and condition or affect one another, in a constant process of arising and ceasing. A key formulation of Pratītyasamutpāda is idapaccayata or idam pratyayata, specific conditionality, or this, that conditionality. This is, because that is. This is not, because that is not. This ceases to be, because that ceases to be. Relation to other Buddhist concepts. The principle of dependent origination is a key element in other Buddhist teachings. Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths are an expression of the principle of dependent origination. The Four Noble Truths explain the arising of dukkha, which is dependently originated, and the cessation of dukkha, by removing the causes. Karma. The principle of dependent origination underpins the concept of karma, the individual actions and the fruition. Every fruition is said to depend upon multiple causes and conditions. The 12 nidhanas. The 12 nidhanas are a series of causal links that describe the process of samsara rebirth and the arising of dukkha. In reverse order, they also describe the way to liberation from samsara. When certain conditions are present, they give rise to subsequent conditions, which in turn give rise to other conditions, resulting in the cyclical nature of life in samsara. Understanding within the Buddhist traditions. Theravada. In the Theravada tradition, Pratītyasamutpāda implies that several causes give rise to several results. The Theravada tradition records, as a fundamental axiom, the principle that a single cause does not give rise to either a single result or several results, nor do several causes give rise to just one result, but rather several causes give rise to several results. Within the Theravada Buddhist tradition, the 12 nidhanas are considered to be the most significant application of the principle of dependent origination. Mahayana Madhyamaka. In the Madhyamaka, to say that an object is empty is synonymous with saying that it is dependently originated. Nagarjuna equates emptiness with dependent origination in Mula Madhyamaka Karika 24:18. Whatever arises dependently is explained as empty. Thus dependent attribution is the middle way, since there is nothing whatever that is not dependently existent. For that reason there is nothing whatsoever that is not empty. In his analysis, any enduring essential nature would prevent the process of dependent origination, would prevent any kind of origination at all. For things would simply always have been and will always continue to be, i.e., as existence. Madhyamaka suggests that impermanent collections of causes and conditions are designated by mere conceptual labels. which also applies to the causes and conditions themselves and even the principle of causality itself, since everything is dependently originated. If unaware of this, things may seem to arise as existence, remain for a time and then subsequently perish. Dzogchen. In the Dzogchen tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, the concept of dependent origination is considered to be complementary to the concept of emptiness. Specifically, this tradition emphasizes the indivisibility of appearance and emptiness, also known as the relative and absolute aspects of reality. Appearance refers to the concept that all appearances are dependently originated. Emptiness refers to the concept that the nature of all phenomena is emptiness, lacking inherent existence. In Mipham Rinpoche's beacon of certainty, this relationship is explained using the metaphor of the reflection of the moon in water. According to this metaphor, the nature of all phenomena is like the reflection of the moon in water, completely lacking inherent existence. However, one of the founders of Tibetan Buddhism, Padmasambhava, emphasized his respect for this relationship as follows. Though my view is as spacious as the sky, my actions and respect for cause and effect are as fine as grains of flour. Yen school. The Yen school taught the doctrine of the mutual containment and interpenetration of all phenomena, as expressed in Indra's net. One thing contains all other existing things, and all existing things contain that one thing. This philosophy is based in the tradition of the great Madhyamaka scholar Nagarjuna and, more specifically, on the Avatamsaka Sutra, regarded by D.T. This sutra describes a cosmos of infinite realms upon realms, mutually containing one another. Modern interpretations. Western science and philosophy. The Mahayana presentation of Pratītyasamutpāda has been compared to the scientific theory of quantum mechanics, the contemporary branch of physics that examines matter on atomic and subatomic levels. The doctrine of Pratītyasamutpāda has also been compared to modern systems theory. Bhikkhu Thanissaro relates the Buddhist concept of causality to modern deterministic chaos theory. J. Garfield points out the similarities between Pratītyasamutpāda and the philosophies of Hume, Kant, and others. The concept of Pratītyasamutpāda has also been compared to the Western philosophy of metaphysics. Bhikkhu Thanissaro explains that the Buddha did not intend to put forth a system of metaphysics, yet scholars have noted the similarities between Pratītyasamutpāda and metaphysics. One source asserts that Pratītyasamutpāda should not be considered a metaphysical doctrine in the strictest sense, since it does not confirm nor deny specific entities or realities. Noah Ronkin notes that while the Buddha suspends all views regarding certain metaphysical questions, he does not deny the significance of the questions. Bhikkhu Thanissaro relates the Buddhist concept of karma to the modern philosophy of radical phenomenology, interconnectedness and deep ecology. One of the basic ideas behind the Buddha's teaching of mutual interdependence is that ultimately there is no demarcation between what appears to be an individual creature and its environment. Pratītyasamutpāda has been applied to explain the interconnectedness of all being, as expressed in the metaphor of Indra's net, or Thich Hans, interbeing. Harming the environment is thus, in a non-trivial sense, harming oneself. This philosophical position lies at the heart of modern-day deep ecology, and some representatives of this movement have shown that Buddhist philosophy provides a basis for deep ecological thinking.